Statistics, chapter 14, concepts. So, statistics, we'll see. This is a chapter. So, going into what is statistics, statistics is a branch of science in which we study the methods and techniques used in first collection, second organization, third presentation, then fourth analysis, and then fifth interpretation of numerical data. So now here basically what statistics means is it is a branch of science in which we study the methods and techniques used in collecting the data, organizing the data, presenting the data. Then you make an analysis on the data, interpretation of numerical data. Now from where do we collect this data? We collect this data from different sources. You can have a primary source, you can have a secondary source. So from wherever you are collecting the data, after collecting the data, we just organize that, then we present it, do analysis, then interpret the data of whatever is the given numerical data which we are having. So now here, what is raw data? We'll just see what is raw data. It is nothing but it is the collection of actual information used to make logical inferences. So statistics is used in so many places, like we take daily attendance in a class. You can weigh what is the average mark of a child in different subjects, whatever is the subject which you're taking. So all these, wherever you're collecting data, you want to have some analysis, you want to interpret the data in terms of which is the highest, which is the lowest, what is the range between the highest and the lowest, what is the mean, what is the average mark of that class, or average height of that class, average weight of that particular class, or what is the average attendance of the class, or what is the number of boys, how did they perform, how did the girls perform. If you are taking the strength in the class, girls versus boys, then you can find out who is the average student out there, who is studying, who is getting less than 50%, who is getting more than 50%, who is going to get above 95%. All this can be calculated using our statistics. And whenever you're collecting this data, this raw data is nothing but it's a collection of actual information used to make logical inferences. Now you cannot collect, now when you're taking in a class the marks of different students, if you're taking the marks of mathematics marks of different students, you cannot just like that write randomly that seeing a particular face that this is the mark given to this child, or this person can get this mark. You have to take the actual information of there. How is it? Doesn't depend upon what they're only what they're performing in the exam. Those marks only you can write in this. So the statistical data, whatever you're taking here, the raw data is nothing but the actual information to make some logical inferences. Suppose for example, if I'm taking here, I'm just considering an example over here. If I'm taking the age of some 5 girls, or if you want, we can take the marks of 5 students in a class. Okay, in the subject, okay, subject we are taking here is in the subject mathematics. Suppose you take some 5 names. One is Ram, then we'll take it as any name. Ram, okay, uh, Rita, Geeta, Vani, and Rani. Suppose these are the 5 students of the class. I am taking the mathematics. Suppose I am giving for Ram out of 100. If we are taking it, I am giving for this person as 85. For Rita, if it is suppose 70. For Geeta, she is getting somewhere around 82. Then Vani is getting 95, and Rani is getting somewhere around 60. Okay, so now here whoever get more than 90%, that person will get, we can consider that person is getting more than a grade. We can give an A grade for that person. So now here first we have given some, here we have collected this raw data, that is the actual information, to make some logical inferences. So now out of these 5 students who really study good in that class, they have got these marks. So over here we can tell that who scored the least mark. We can tell over here Rani scored the least over here, all the others out of 100. Then who scored the highest? The highest is scored by Rani. I'm sorry, Vani. The least is scored by Rani. So now here we can tell even what is the range of the score, which is between the highest and the least, that is 95 minus 60, which is nothing but 35. So therefore here we can tell that the range is also given over here. What is the minimum mark? We know what is the minimum mark. What is the maximum mark? Minimum is 60, maximum is 95. Then range is nothing but the highest minus the least, that is 95 minus 60, which is equal to 35. This is the range of the class. How many got more than 80%? How many of the students got more than 80%? 3 students. Okay, who are they? Also we can see Ram, Geeta, and Vani. How many got less than 70%? Is 1 student. So all these type of interpretation we can make using this. So what we are doing is, when we are collecting the data, we are collecting the raw data, we are trying to present the data. This is the presentation. That is, we wrote Ram got 85, Rita. We cannot write just like that, Ram, Rita, Geeta, Vani, Rani, 85, 70, 82, 95, 60. Whenever we are writing, we have to write under Ram 85, so that it means that 85 marks are got by Ram. So this is called as presentation. Okay, collection, first we are collecting. This is called as organization. Organization is we are writing all under that, and then we are presenting the data. After this we are making an analysis, that is we are trying to see over here what is the kind of analysis we can make, who got the least, who got the highest, what are the different types of questions we can make. Try to make those are the different, what is the minimum mark, what is the maximum mark, range, more than 80%, more than less than 70%, and who got A grade. So all that we can make those type, and the interpretation of that numerical data is nothing but the minimum mark is 60. This 60 is nothing but the interpretation. That is, we can tell you Rani got 60, Vani got maximum marks, that is above 90%, which she got an A grade. So range is highest minus least. This is nothing but the interpretation which we have done over here. So this is the basic about technique or methods study, the methods and techniques used in collection of organization of any data. Now suppose this is a very small data. So you can write down what is the minimum mark, what is the maximum mark. And suppose you are collecting the data for 100 students. So you have to write so much data. If you write one over there, it will take time and everything also. So what do we do? How do we do that type of data also? We'll just see. So when the data, raw data is very large, we may not be able to extract any useful information out of them. So thus such raw data must be summarized to an easy manageable form. So we have to bring this raw data into some easy form. Now here we are writing the name and everything over there. But afterwards what do? Is we have to find out, suppose there are 100 students in the class, you want to find out how much each student got. So we have to find, first divide them into different class intervals, that is 0 to 10, how many students got these marks, 0 to 10, then 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. This is called as group data. So we are then comes into the three measures of central tendency. We'll see. So when the data is related to some variable, it can be summarized and divided into convenient groups. Just now I told you, out of 100 marks, different students, that is 100 students in the class, how they are scoring in different groups. So directly or by we try to group them directly or dividing them into different appropriate groups. So we cluster a set of marks around a certain value, which is called as the central value. So that's why we call this as measures of central values. Now there are three main M's, that is commonly used measures of central tendencies. All three are starting with M. So the first one is mean, second one is median, the third one is mode. So now how do we find out this mean, median and mode for raw data? We'll see. Then we'll go into what is the how to find out it for group for raw data. Then we'll go into ungrouped data. Then we'll go into how to find it for group data. Okay. So ungrouped data, how do we find? Then mean for group data also we'll see how to find out that. So now here first we'll take one example and we'll see how to find out the mean of. So example this is for raw data we're doing. So find the mean, median, mode and range for the following data. So some data we are taking, how to find out the mean, median and mode for this data we'll see now. Suppose we are taking here 5, 7, 10, 11, 9, 8, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, for suppose this is the data given to us. So we have to find out what is the mean of this data. Okay, we'll take, it's enough, 7, 8, 9, 2 more we'll take. We'll take it as 6 and then here one more as 12. Okay, so now first, whenever you have to find out the mean, median, mode and range for the following data, first whatever is the given data, we have to arrange it in ascending order or increasing order. So the first step, always given any data, order. So solution for this is, first we are going to find out, we are arranging this in ascending order. So ascending order, first you are having 5, then comes 6, then 7, again 7. We'll just cancel out whatever we have written here. 2 times 7 is there, we have to write whatever is the data given to us. Then we are having 9, 8 also is there. So 8, then 9, then 10, then 11, then 12. So now this is the way we arrange the data. Now how to calculate the mean we'll see first. So how to calculate the mean we'll see. How do we do? For doing the mean, we just calculate the sum of all these observations divided by number of observations. Okay, so here you are having number of observations as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So here our n is nothing but 9. What is the sum of this? 5 plus 7 plus 6 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7. So we can write it as 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12 divided by 9. This is the mean which we have to get. 75 by 9. So 75 divided by 9 is equal to 8.333 we are getting. So you can take it as approximately 8.3 approx. So the mean is nothing but, what is the mean over here? It is 8.3. You add all the observations, then you divide by 9, you will be getting it as 8.3. Now how do we calculate what is the median? So for median, again I am writing all the values here. We have arranged it in ascending order or increasing order. I am writing all those values here. So now what do we do in this median is, we start cancelling it from the side. 5 this side, 12 here, 6 here, 11 here, 7, 10, 7, 8. So there is one term which is left in between. Therefore our median is nothing but the middle term. That is, median is equal to 8. So this is the answer for median. Now how do we calculate the mode? Mode is the most number of times more frequently occurred number is nothing but the mode. So now here you can see in the given data we are having 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So which is occurring many times over here? So 7 is occurring 2 times. Okay. So therefore our mode is nothing but 7 over here, because it's occurring frequently, more number of times. If two numbers occur more number of times, suppose if it is 10 which has occurred twice and 7 occurred twice, you can take 7 and 10 as the mode. It is called as bimodal value. Okay. So therefore now you have got your, what is your mean, what is the median, what is the mode. See there, these are all the central tendencies or measure of central tendencies. See, a mean is nothing but 8.3, median is 8, somewhere equal. Mode is also somewhat, it is close to these values. So these three are called as the central tendencies, measures of central tendencies. So now what is one more thing which we have to calculate? I told we'll calculate mean, median, mode and range. What is the range? Range is nothing but, it is equal to the maximum value minus the minimum value. So what is the maximum value in this? 12. 12 minus of 5, which is equal to 7. So this is the range of the data. So now we'll take one more example. Here we have taken odd number of observations because there are 9 observations. When there are even number of observations, how do we calculate the mean, median, mode and the range also? We'll see for the following data. So for example, if we'll take one more example. Okay, find the mean, median, mode and range for the following data. Suppose I take it as 7, 7, 11, 13, 17, 10, 10, 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, suppose you're having here 9 and the last one, suppose I'm taking it as 12. Okay, these are the, suppose I have taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have taken this as the, do the first step. Whenever we have any type of observation, write them in increasing order. So for solution, to find out the mean, median and mode, how do we do? We'll just see. First we'll calculate, we'll arrange this in ascending order. So first we are having 7 is the least, 7 again is repeated, then you're having 9, then you're having 10, 10 it's repeated twice, then you're having 11, 12, 13, 15 and 17. So these are the given type of observations which you're having. So now what is our mean? mean is equal to sum divided by the number of observations. So our n is equal to nothing but 10. So we'll just add all these sum of all the observations. Sum of all the observations is nothing but, we'll just see, 7 plus 7 plus 9 plus 10 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12 plus 13 plus 15 plus 17 111, it is equal to, divided by 10, which is equal to 11.1. So this is the mean over here which we have. Now how do we calculate the median? We'll see. So for median, what we'll do? We'll again write all the observations over here. 7, 7, 9, 10, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 17. So we'll just cut it from both the sides and see what we are getting. Now we observe that in even number of observations we are having two terms in the middle. When it is odd number of observations, we can see here we got only one term in between, and we write that here, that as the median. But here what do we write? The median is equal to nothing but the average of these two. That means 10 plus 11 divided by 2, which is equal to 21 by 2, which is equal to 10.5. So this is the answer. This is the median. Then next what we have is what is called as mode. Mode, again you write down the data: 7, 7, 9, 10, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 and 17. So how to find out what is the mode? There are two numbers which are repeating themselves. So therefore our mode is not a single value. Mode is equal to 7 and 10. There are two mode away and 10. Both are the mode. So these are called as bimodal values. Okay, bimodal value. This is 7 and 10. Now what is the range of this data? Range is equal to the maximum or the highest minus lowest, which is equal to, highest is 17 minus 7, which is equal to 10. So here lowest range is nothing but 10. So now what is the formula used to find out the mean of raw data? What is the formula used to find out the mean of ungrouped data? Assumed mean method, step deviation method, we'll see now. Okay, so now the first mean of raw data. So mean of raw data, the arithmetic mean is also called as arithmetic mean. Arithmetic mean of values x1, x2, x3, so on. Xn is denoted by x bar and is given by the formula x bar is equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus so on plus xn divided by n, which is equal to sigma xi by n, where I is equal to 1 to n. So this is called the mean of the data. It is always denoted by x bar. For raw data, we will find out the sum. Just now we have seen in the previous problem 2 examples how to find out the sum, and divided by n, where n is the number of observations. Next we mean of ungrouped data. Mean of ungrouped data. Now if x1, x2, x3 so on, xn occur with the frequencies with the frequencies f1, f2, so on, fn respectively, then mean of this type of data of the sun group data is nothing but f1 x1 plus f2 x2 plus so on plus fn xn divided by f1 plus f2 plus f3 plus so on plus fn, where this f1 plus f2 plus f3 plus so on fn is denoted by capital N, and the top value it's written as sigma fi xi, where I is equal to 1 to n, and here sigma fi is nothing but equal to capital N, where I is equal to 1 to n. So this is sigma equal to 1 to n, fi that is equal to capital N. Now what is the assumed mean method formula, we'll see. So next one is assumed mean method. Assumed mean method. In the exam they'll mention by assumed mean method, but here you can find out, because there are MCQs which are given, you can find out the mean by any method. So now if A is the assumed mean, then the deviations can be calculated as di is equal to xi minus capital A, and mean can be calculated as, can be calculated by the formula x bar is equal to A plus sigma fi di by sigma fi divided by capital N, where capital N is equal to sigma fi. So now how to do step deviation method, we'll write. So step deviation method. So using ui is equal to xi minus A by small h, where h is the width of the class interval in a group data. We can use the following formula to calculate the mean. So now the following formula to calculate the mean: x bar is equal to A plus sigma fi ui divided by sigma fi into h. So I is equal to 1 to n. This is the formula we use, where capital N is equal to sigma fi. This is for step deviation method. This is the way we calculate the mean, the formula used. So mean is equal to x bar is equal so much. Now next you have what is called as mean. Now how do we calculate the median for? So median is the measure of the central item when they are arranged in, when they are in descending or ascending order of magnitude. Descending or ascending order of magnitude. Now median formula is given by, this is very equal to L plus n by 2 minus Cf divided by F into H. So where L is the lower limit of the median class, then we have capital N is the total frequency, Cf is cumulative frequency, of the class preceding the median class. Now H is nothing but the width of the median class. So next we have what is called as mode. It is the size of the variable which occurs most frequently. So what is the mode formula? We'll see. So mode is equal to L plus F1 minus F0 divided by 2 F1 minus F0 minus F2 into H, where L is the lower limit of the median class, H is the size of the class interval, F2 is the frequency of the F1. We'll take first what F1 is the frequency of the model class, then F0 frequency of the class preceding the model class, Then we have what is F1. F1 is frequency of the class succeeding the model class, frequency of the class succeeding the model class. Next we have what are called as, we have even mean for group data. Mean of group data also we'll just write down. Mean of group data it is similar to ungrouped data, but for each and every observation for x1 there is one f1 over there. So here you are having if x1, x2, x3 you are given in interval. Suppose you are given 0 to 10, you have to find out what is xi, that is called the mid value, or when we are doing a problem we'll do that. Xn are observations with frequencies f1, f2, f3, so on, fn respectively. Then we can say that x1 occurs f1 times, x2 occurs f2 times, and so on. So arithmetic mean is expressed as x bar is equal to f1 x1 plus f2 x2 plus so on plus fn xn divided by f1 plus f2 plus so on plus fn, which means x bar is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to n fi xi divided by sigma I equal to 1 to n fi. To cumulative frequency curve or the ogive, there are two types of ogives. First one is less than ogive. So plot the points with the upper limits of the class as abscissa and the less than cumulative frequencies as ordinates. So that is the abscissa is the x-axis and ordinates is the y-axis. The points are joined by free hand to get a smooth curve to give less than cumulative frequency or the less than ogive. Okay, the second one is called as greater than ogive. It is the same thing but the reverse of that. So you have to plot the points with the lower limits of the classes as abscissa and the corresponding greater than cumulative frequencies Join the points by a free hand to get a smooth curve called greater than ujjayi. So with this we have written all the formulas. We are ready to do all the exercise problems. So next we'll start off with exercise 14.1.